You know, can I be transparent for a moment? When I was going through the most difficult season of my life, I mean, one week I'm burying someone that I loved. That next week, I'm sitting in front of IRS agents telling me they're going to put me in prison because I owed $2.3 million in back taxes. Did I tell y'all that it was a week later? I buried her on a Thursday. The next Thursday, I'm sitting in front of IRS officers telling me that I'm going to jail. So pressure, beloved brothers and sisters, had hit me from the north, the south, the east, and the west. My heart is broken. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. I don't know how I got into this because this isn't an area of my life that I even managed at that particular point in time. The person who had all the answers was in the grave. I can't get no help here. And now all of a sudden, they're asking me questions that I can't even answer. And I'm sitting here with tears rolling down my face, asking God to give me my life back. Watch this. I never went and had a drink. I never went and I popped a pill. See, pressure ain't supposed to cause you to leave God. Pressure is supposed to cause you to cling to God. And I made up in my mind that if I don't have nobody in this situation, I know I got a God. And I've been faithful. And because I've been faithful over a few things, he's going to make me ruler. That's why you're going to hear me say this more often this year. You got to guard your ear gates. Look at somebody, say, guard your ear gates. I said, look at your doggone neighbor. Tell them to say, guard your ear gates. In other words, you can't allow yourself to hear everything. Some of these TikToks that y'all listening to, you need to guard your ear gates. Some of these Facebooks, you need to guard your ear gates. Some of these bloggers and bloggers, you need to guard your ear gates. Look at somebody, say, guard your ear gates. But not only do you need to guard your ear gates, you need to guard your eye gates. You can't allow yourself to see everything. You got to make up in your mind that there are certain things that I'm not going to allow myself to see. There are certain things that I'm not going to allow myself to hear. Why? Because what ends up happening is that whatever you tell yourself influences your next move. Notice that the text does not say that David found someone to encourage him. It says that David encouraged himself. You need to understand that this is not arrogance. It is spiritual maturity. I'm about to say something that you need to hear. Everybody can't speak into your life. Look at somebody, say, everybody can't speak into my life. Some of y'all still looking at me. I need you to touch your neighbor and tell them, say, everybody should not be speaking into your life. Everybody coming up to you talking about, I heard the Lord told me to tell you. No, he didn't tell you to tell me that. Because what you are telling me does not align with what God is telling me to do. And because I'm spiritually mature, I don't have to wait for you to give me a word because God already has given me a word. All I need is a confirmation. And sometimes the only way that you're going to be able to get out of situations that are difficult and challenging in your life is you're going to have to silence the crowd and encourage yourself. Spiritually mature. David was spiritually mature. David was spiritually mature. He was a worshiper. He was a warrior. He was a worshiper. He was a warrior. He was a worshiper. He was a warrior. He was spiritually mature. Some of y'all, that's your problem. You're not spiritually mature. That's why you get beat up left and right, and as soon as a simple situation hits your life, you fold under the pressure. You fold. As soon as you get hit with something simple. I ain't talking about nothing difficult. I'm talking about, I need you to pray for this, Pastor. What am I praying for? Well, you know, they talking about laying folk off on my job. You talking about laying folk off on my job. Now you got 30 years. The only reason why they would lay you off is if you haven't been productive. And watch this. And even if they do, if you have been consistent in the things of God something better. I'm going to use your testimony, man of God. I'm going to use your testimony. Is it all right? Can I use it? Can I use it? Okay. I mean, Pastor Hatcher came to me, told me, said, Bishop, I just got laid off from my job. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just got laid off. I don't know what I'm going to do. They just came out of nowhere and just told me, this is it. And let him go. We prayed. Said we're going to pray. Believe God. Trust him. You've been consistent. You've been faithful. Next thing I know, a few weeks later, Hatch come up to me and say, hey. Let me tell you what God did. Not only did God give me a new job, but they increased my salary 1/3 from what I... You ain't supposed to break under pressure. You are supposed to cling to him when pressure comes, knowing that God is able to do exceeding abundantly and above. Pressure don't make you quit. Pressure makes you encourage yourself. You got to stop listening. And that's why he could have came to me. Now, I could have been the wrong one to come to. He could have came to me and I could have just rained on his parade. Well, man, if I was you, I'd just pick up the phone and call Marvin, because I'm telling you, ain't no jobs out here, Doc. Ain't no jobs out here for folks our age. You up there. So I don't know if you will ever find another job like the one you had. If I would have said those things to him, he wouldn't have left encouraged. He'd have left discouraged, dismayed. What kind of man of God am I sitting under that does not have a word that's going to challenge me to go to my next level? Why is he causing me to think gloom and doom over my situation? He should be telling me things are going to get better. But I'm not just talking about your preacher, your pastor, your teacher. I'm talking about folks that y'all sit with every day, every week, who you having coffee with, who you texting, who you calling. You need to get away from them boogers and talk to somebody that's going to encourage you. And if you can't find them, look in the mirror, because you know what you need to hear, and tell yourself what you need to hear. That's why you're going to hear me say this more often this year. You got to guard your ear gates. Look at somebody, say, guard your ear gates. I said, look at your doggone neighbor. Tell them to say,